We are doing another coffee chat. Me and Indigo Nili here. Just call her Nili though, because otherwise it's a little weird.
I am. Yeah. Some people call me Indigo, which is fine.
But weird.
Yeah.
When it's not your name. Good times. Good times.
Right.
So if you are here, we are glad that you are. We would love to hear from you in the chat. We do coffee chat, which means that we are drinking coffee or some other beverage of your choosing. Presently, I've got black coffee. What do you have, Nili?
Coffee with cream. I was actually realizing the day that my power went out and it was like a fiasco, that was the day I drank tea.
Oh,
I think I angered the coffee gods. I angered the coffee gods and they wouldn't allow it to continue. So I'm not making that mistake again.
They were like, we gave you a sneak of weasels, and here you are presenting leaves of tea. This is not what we agreed to.
Exactly. I'm very sorry. I am very repentant, and I will not let it happen again.
I appreciate the apology and the repentance, and I'm glad that you came back to the appropriate side of the argument here. It's going to be okay. Also, if you are unfamiliar with a sneak of weasels, we did a Fab 4 chat over on Amy Carnivore's Angels channel, and it was kind of a thing. So you may need to go check that out if you did not watch that episode.
I think I'm so fuzzy because I'm on the wrong network. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna switch it and then come back in. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
I just realized that's probably the problem.
No worries. Go for it. Nili will return. We pray. All right. So Blaze is here. Hello, Blaze. And Bree is here. Welcome. The watermelon element. I tell you what, I have yet to meet an element flavor I dislike. And today I drank mango chili and I don't know what it is about those spicy flavors, but I am always in for a solid spicy flavor.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay!
Okay, good. I switched networks and I didn't have to actually like do the whole thing. So I think I'm a little bit clearer. So that's good.
Hi, Patty. I'm glad you're here. I tell you what, the vacuuming, I can't wait. One thing I have figured out with my house is we have a central vacuum system that was part of the house when we bought it. And it is so quiet. It's amazing. Like I can actually listen to things like podcasts or videos or live chats or whatever while I'm vacuuming. It's such a silly little thing, but it's it's amazing how much of an impact that actually has on me. Fantastic. Coffee number 4, Tiffany. You are a woman after my heart.
Yeah, I feel it.
Hello, Betty from Chicago. Oh, you're not a fan of the spicy elements, Blaze. Oh man. Yeah. I have a box of the mango chili and of the is it lemon habanero? Love both of those so hard.
I like them, but I have to cut them half and half with like a citrus salt because I don't like too spicy. But I like a little bit of flavor.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I personally I need all the heat.
Yeah, I can see that. I've heard people talk about using like the mango chili in guacamole and other like sprinkling on meat and stuff. I haven't tried that yet. I want to do that.
Yeah, I've also thought about using it as a seasoning on like wings or, just like putting pairing it with chicken. I don't know how I feel about it pairing with beef, maybe with pork. I do have a pork butt, and I'm wondering
it would be good
if it can make some good carnitas. That could be an exciting adventure for sure.
Needs to happen.
Hello, Rickwin. Painting cabinets. Don't let those dry with like drips though. I don't want to be responsible for drippy paint cabinets.
Don't put that on us.
Oh my goodness. I cleaned this room over the weekend, like intense deep clean, which is something I probably get around to like once every quarter in this room, just because my kids are old enough to not lick the windows, and we don't have a dog.
Man. Oh man, that sounds nice.
I know. But
I
the
have
windows
dogs
still.
and a child young enough to lick the windows.
Well, I went through and I cleaned it all in here, and there was a reason I was telling you this, and now I have
Mhm.
forgotten. So
Oh, yeah.
that stinks. Maybe
Well,
if I
I'm very proud of you. I'm glad that you told me because I wanted to, cheer
you
you
need
on.
to know. You
Job.
need to know. There was
Job.
real purpose in that too. Dag nabbit.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh well. It'll be fine. Man, that's gonna actually
Lisa's
irk me.
here. Risa's here. She just had her electrolytes. Oh, she's just got her electrolytes because she already drank her coffee.
Listen, I am firmly situated in the camp of have your electrolytes, but then also have all the coffee. All of it. Literally all.
And you can have electrolytes in your coffee too.
You sure
So,
can. You
I
sure
mean,
can. So
Element has proven that.
that's right. I have not yet done this, but it's on the docket. I want to brew some like peppermint tea, steep some peppermint tea, and then I want to use
Mm,
chocolate mint element in my peppermint tea. But I don't ever
mm,
take sweetener in my tea, so I'm a
mm.
little bit
I'm the
apprehensive
opposite.
about.
I take sweetener in my tea, but not in my coffee.
Mm, yeah, I've
It's funny.
definitely.
Jeff is obsessed with the element in the tea. And
Yeah,
we keep saying, oh, do you want an element tea? And it sounds like you're saying LMNT, element tea.
that's funny. You can't tell
Ridiculous.
me funny things whenever I've actually got coffee in my mouth. That's not fair.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
not fair at all.
Let's see. Blaze is asking how the puppy training is going. It is going very well. He is so smart and he's catching on. Like, obviously, he's still a puppy, so accidents happen, but he's catching on. It's always the worst when you have a puppy or you're dealing with a dog where it's like they just don't get it. And like that's maddening.
Yeah,
So dealing with the accidents is not that big of a deal because he's so clearly showing that he is getting it. He's learning how to sit already. I have him sit at the door before, when I open it so he's not like busting in the door. Like he's just doing so good. He's so
that's
stinking smart
awesome.
and he's so stinking sweet. And he's like the perfect mix of just sweet cuddle bug and like feisty puppy. So
That's
it's
fantastic.
yeah, he's great. He's great. It's exhausting, but he's great.
Yeah. I had to say, like, I really admire the clips that you've shown of Jeff whenever y'all first got Izzy and how on top of things Jeff is. I very much so have a high regard for people who spend the time and effort and put in the dedication to training their animals well. Like that is
Yeah.
a piece of a puzzle that yeah, I grew up with my dad always like very intentionally training the dogs that we had as I grew up. And it's one of
Yeah.
those pieces that I'm like, I if you're willing to put the time and effort into this, you can really have a lifelong companion, well, not lifelong, but for their lifelong
Your
companion
lifelong.
that
Yeah.
is so well behaved and so good.
Yeah.
And just
It's so rewarding too.
oh yeah.
I mean, and it's even rewarding in the sense that it's like when people come over, they enjoy your dog.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
our first dog, he was great, Poe. He was great with us. He did not like strangers.
Sure.
So and we didn't socialize him well enough, like at the beginning.
Hmm.
Looking back, it's like, oh, we could have done a lot better with that.
Yeah.
So like putting that effort in now, it's like being hospitable to anyone that might come to our house at any point in
Yeah.
time in the future.
Yeah.
And that's rewarding too, just to have someone. It's kind of like kids as well. When someone legitimately enjoys your child, it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, and when someone really dislikes your child, then that's really hard. So
Yeah.
putting in the work in now so we can avoid those in the future, both with the children and with the puppy.
It all just comes together. Just need to be good contributors of society,
We
dog
try.
or
We
human.
really try.
I I have
Uh,
not yet decided when we should have a puppy. My husband and I are still kind of we
it's
want
kind
one.
of
We want one so much.
yeah.
But the
It's kind of like a baby. There's never the right time.
yeah,
You just have to like bite the bullet and do it.
yeah, our we just see so many things like happening in the upcoming year for us as far as,
Mhm.
like different trips that we're taking, which KetoCon is coming. Make sure you. I don't have.
We will be there.
I don't have a link for you. I don't have a link for KetoCon, but maybe after we're done here, I can put that like in a pinned comment or something because we're going to be at KetoCon.
Indigo Nili is the coupon code. So if you don't have the link, as long as you use the coupon code in the checkout, you get the $50 off, and then they'll know that I sent you.
That we sent you. Well, Nili's doing the sending. I'm just behind doing the cheerleading.
It's gonna be so fun. I cannot wait.
I am super jazzed. My parents, they came for New Year's. I said that last week. And my dad said, so now what is it y'all are doing? Because we're leaving our girls with them in Texas while we move on to the KetoCon thing for a few days. And I was like, well, Daddy, we're going to KetoCon. And he was like, what? Oh, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a conference for keto things. What do you expect to get from that? I mean, like, it was a genuine question. There was no like malice.
I understand. Yeah. It's
like, I don't,
if you're not in that world.
Well, and
it's like all these other cons that people go to, you know, it's like, I'm like, okay, cool. Good for you. But if you're not into that world, it's like, why would you do that?
Well, and my dad, he used to go to trade shows where they would go to these conference things and he would show whatever product it was. And so in his mind, he's wondering like, why would you do this? Like, what are you going to find there that you wouldn't find on the internet? And I was like, well, it's about the community aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to just be excited together.
I am actually going to have the founder of KetoCon, Robin Switzer, I think is her name. She's going to do a YouTube live with me coming up in the next couple of weeks.
That will be so fun.
Yeah. So anybody watching, like, think of questions if you have any for her about KetoCon, about what the event's going to be like, you know, anything like that. It'll be live so everyone can ask questions as we're going on.
I think I would come up with really random, weird questions. Like, if you could be asparagus or broccoli, which would you choose to be and why?
Steak.
Steak is always the right answer.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what the question is. Steak.
Yeah. Kind of like in Sunday school when Jesus is always the right answer.
That's right.
Steak is always the right answer when you're talking about food.
That's right. Steak every time. Or butter. We will accept butter as well.
Or butter, yeah.
Those are the two. That's true. Just depending on if you need just the fat or all the protein too.
Yeah. Whether you lean protein or lean fat.
Or we just kind of marry them together and it's a butter
on steak is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, can I tell my story, my honey story?
Yes.
So yesterday did not go as I had anticipated it going. It ended up with a gigantic mess, but it was a good mess. Sadly, our beehive, the bees in our beehive died. They didn't make it through the winter. We don't know exactly why. We think it's probably because we're inexperienced beekeepers and we didn't do everything right, but we're learning. But we decided to open up the hive and see what was in there. And there was so much honey. Like the beehive weighed like 50 pounds. Like it was crazy. It's mind-boggling to think of like how bees do this. But anyways, so my husband scraped it all off. We didn't have to be like really careful about it because obviously the bees were dead and they didn't need it to continue on with their hive. But so he was able to just scrape everything off. We got 3 like 8-quart Instant Pot full of the mixture of the beeswax and the honey. And so like we're Googling, like trying to figure out like, what do we do? Because we don't have all the, you know, separation equipment and all that stuff. And so we ended up just like heating it, not super hot because we didn't want it to, we just didn't want to kill everything.
Lose any of those properties.
Exactly. But without all the equipment, it's like, it's hard to do it another way. And so we ended up getting over 4 gallons of honey. 4 gallons of honey. And then a big block of beeswax as well that I'm trying to figure out how to purify and make some candles with or something. So that was like, oh my gosh, it was so much work. I did not expect my day to end that way. My kitchen, I don't think I will ever get all of the wax and the stickiness out of my kitchen. We definitely learned a lot through that process yesterday. And so like moving forward, we're gonna make some investments in some different equipment and stuff. But
Sure.
Man, it was crazy. It was crazy. So yeah.
Flabbergasted with the volume of honey that you showed us. I was just like, oh my word, that's amazing. Oh, and it keeps forever, so that's even better.
Exactly. Exactly. Jeff was like, should we date these jars? And I'm like, I don't think so. I was like, did they find some honey in some like ancient ruin at some point and it was still good? Like, it lasts forever.
I think it's gonna be all right. Are y'all planning on getting another hive or 2 hives or anything like that in the future?
Jeff is planning on trying again with some newfound, knowledge that we have learned. We met somebody that lives close by here that has a bee farm. And so Jeff was able to get a lot of good info from her. And so I think we're on the right track now. And then it could have been that it wasn't really our fault too. Like there were some other friends that had a beehive that didn't make it through the winter and they're experienced with it. Mm-hmm. So it could have been an environmental thing. It like went from really warm to really cold really fast, like different stuff like that. So might not have been our fault, but we're going to go in, try again.
Yeah.
I mean, we put it in April. That's when we started it. And like that amount of honey, like that's a year's worth of honey for us. And it hasn't even been a year. That's crazy. It's crazy. Like it's just shocking. Bees are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
You start looking into it and you're just like, heck. Yeah. So anyways, that was my day. Oh, and Bubs loved the honey. Because we were working on it and like pieces of comb kept like dropping off and he was coming over and licking them and eating them. He thought it was amazing.
He was like, this is my best life.
He didn't hear about it. Yeah. It's like candy. Yeah. Like, Bubs, you're going to get diabetes.
That's right. That's right.
He's so tiny.
Like, listen, dog, I need you to go over here and eat some raw meat real quick so we can balance things here.
Balance. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Can't get these kids hooked on sugar so early.
That's right. You see, Risa wants to know, did you video any of the honey madness?
Since it kind of was like unexpected, Jeff was like, hey, let's check out, the hive. And we were just going to look at the inside of it, and see what it was like. We did not expect to harvest anything. So I wasn't prepared for like a full video on it, but I did take some like vertical video that I'll put on Instagram. Probably once I look through it. But yeah, it looks, I mean, it's just amazing. It's crazy. Yeah. That's all I can do. That's all I can say.
It's a great story. It's a great story. Jennifer, you're getting some bees this spring. That is super cool. Mm-hmm. And Betty, 4 gallons is amazing. Well, and I think honey, you don't really have to do anything to preserve it. So that's one of the beautiful things about it. It just is its own preservative kind of a thing. So that's very cool. Yeah. Okay. It was an excellent story. We're going to do a hard segue into the accountability portion of the day.
Yes.
So last week I told you to just try to do one yoga workout. What happened?
I did it.
Did you do just one or did you do more than one?
Yay! I did one. And it was yesterday.
Everybody high five the screen, high five Nili's face.
I did it yesterday and it felt so good.
Yay. Yeah. Yay. That's awesome.
I felt so good about it because I did my one workout that you told me to do and I didn't feel bad that it wasn't more.
Yeah.
I did my one.
Yeah. Well, and I've kind of thought through this a little bit. I've kind of been in a reflective mental headspace lately. And one of the things that I've really thought about is if you consider the way that society's attention span and commitment levels have gone for the past however many decades, we've gotten really terrible at like long-term commitments. And I understand it. It's like there's so much information coming at us at all times. And then we allow so much information to come at us at all times. And like you were talking about a couple of weeks ago with the dopamine hit, just by observing someone else doing something we think we want to do, we get that sort of that enjoyment from it. Or so it's really difficult because you can sit there and you can be watching a streaming service on your TV and at the same time you're scrolling through some sort of content on your phone. I don't have the Instagram or the Facebooks, but I'll scroll through Pinterest while we're actively watching TV, just
Yes.
try to absorb something new or something more. And it's like my attention span is about 27 seconds. And if
Yep.
I try to commit to something for a full year, there's no way I'm going to stay focused on that for a full year. So taking it in those little bitty chunks and just sort of exercising the muscle of this week, I'm going to do one thing and being able to do
Mhm.
it. It's like, okay, now I know I can do that. Let's do the next thing. It just
Yeah.
it's just really been kind of just marinating in my brain for the past couple of days, really. Um,
Mm.
just being able to commit to something for a very short period of time. Like I can commit to a YouTube video that is 3 minutes long. Yes, I can commit to that. And
Mhm.
then I find myself halfway through, like, what's the next video I'm gonna watch?
Exactly. Yes.
So, yay for doing one. So, do you feel
Yeah,
like?
and
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's all about your mindset about it because if I had just done one workout in a week, a different week, I might have felt bad.
Yeah,
Like I didn't succeed, but instead I felt like I did succeed. Like it's all about like how I think about it.
yeah.
So,
I struggle with the idea of celebrating mediocrity as a
mm,
long-term kind of a thing. But when it comes
mhm,
to just like slowly like taking that little bitty pebble at the top of the mountain and just kind of like pushing it over the edge just so it starts to gain a little bit of snow and then a little bit more and then all of a sudden it becomes a massive avalanche. Like
mm,
I don't want to hang out in the tiny little spaces. I want to gain that momentum, but
right,
I really want to be able to say, yes, I did the little thing so that I could build the next little thing so that the little thing
right.
could build to be a big thing. So
Yep.
I think
Yep.
that's awesome. Are you planning to do one this upcoming week?
I think I could probably do two. I think I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna try to add in
Okay.
two.
But
I mean, because we're getting in a good roll with the puppy,
yeah.
and so I think adding one more workout I think would be reasonable.
Okay. All right. So we're going
Mhm.
to shoot for two. I like it.
Yeah. Blaze says that I should count my honey adventure as a workout, which
Emotionally and physiologically.
yes, I do. It was a workout. That was like giant pots of honey pouring, and yeah, it was
Functional
intense.
exercise counts.
Exactly. It does.
I love
It
functional
does.
exercise. Risa had something to say here.
Mhm.
Risa, you did a half-hour workout yesterday and had to stop a few times to drink some electrolytes and rest. Cardio strength is not very good at 62. You're good with 15 minutes without, but more, and you have a problem. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like the fact that you had to stop to rest 3 times, like that's not the part that I focus on that comment there. What I hear you saying is I paused and took what I needed and then I continued. And I think that that is the kind of momentum that we all can benefit from and saying, I may need to pause, but I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard Dr. Jade Tita talk about rest-based training.
Mm.
Instead of like trying to time intervals or things like that, you just go until you need to rest, and then you rest, and then you go again until you need to rest. And that's actually a super effective way to condition yourself because you're going based on your own how you feel. It's not based on the clock or like the
Sure.
amount of weight or anything. And so you're actually pushing your body to its limit rather than some other standard.
Hmm.
And you'll find that gradually you're able to, lift more weight during that time or go longer or whatever. And you're listening to your body at the same time. So I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that sounds great. Very cool. So this past week, well, reverse. Last week when we talked, I had done 3 workouts instead of my 2, so I felt like I was winning at life. This week I was only able to get 2 done, and part
Mm.
of it is because, last week on Monday I had done a boot camp class, which was great, but I managed to uh, do something weird to my hamstring.
Yeah.
And so
Mm.
I was trying to be a little bit more judicious with how I approached my workout opportunities because of that. And instead of going, I went to Reformer Pilates on Wednesday, like I had intended, and I intended to go on Friday, but the the strain on my hamstring that I felt, it was not improving in the way that I wanted it to. And I would much rather be able to feel that pain and know that that's a limit for me than numb the pain out with, whatever kind of like anti-inflammatories or other homeopathics to try to like alleviate that pain. I felt I was going to push beyond what my body was capable of in that time. So I decided not to go on Friday. And then I wound up just doing an at-home workout, and I wound up getting my 2 workouts in instead of pushing for the stretch of 3. And I'm content with it, but also
awesome.
I'm hopeful that I don't just allow that to become kind of like, well, I can just bail on me. Instead
of, you want to do 3 workouts this upcoming week? Is that what you're saying?
No. I do not want to do that, Nili.
Your goal is to do 3?
My objective.
Okay.
Goals, I don't know why, but like words, they always sort of like strike up some kind of connotation in your mind, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whatever. So for me, the word goal, it always just seems like it's some ethereal, lofty thing out there in the universe that's
too far
like
away,
not tangible. Whereas if it's a task or an objective, I feel like that's much more like right here in front of my face, and I can do something with it. So
yeah.
My objective is to try to get 3. If I get 2, I'm gonna call that a mediocre success. If I hit 3, I will say it is done.
Okay, sounds good. We will follow up on that next week.
Maybe. I might let you forget. It's
Alan's here.
Okay,
Julia, you said you signed up for Silver Sneakers, and you're going to be starting that. Is that like a exercise program? I thought I heard. Did I hear Wendy talking about it? Maybe.
Silver Sneakers has to do more with, it's a program for people who are not quite, I think, what is it? Is it 55 and up, perhaps? Like there's an age threshold, and it allows you to have access to a variety of things. Like I know at our YMCA, there's a Silver Sneakers program. They get their membership for free because of their age bracket, and it allows them to have access to all of these fitness things while either reducing the cost or completely taking care of the cost. So it's some kind of program, as far as I understand it. Although, Julia, if you would like to chime in and correct me on my wrongness, I would gladly receive the correction. And Alan is here.
Jennifer said that she lives in a rural area, so she doesn't have a good workout place. I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, within 30 minutes, there's a good places, but with my life the way it is, it's just not feasible. If there was something like you have, like the YMCA, where I could take the kids with me, that would be ideal. But I don't know of any place that's going to be workable for us like that. But yeah,
full family involvement.
There are lots of benefits to living out in the country, but lots of big businesses and options. Not one of them.
Right. Yeah. When we were in Wisconsin, there was no opportunity. We had a CrossFit box in town, and I think there may have been a couple of other smaller gyms, but there was no opportunity for childcare or any kind of like ability to integrate children into the process.
Right.
So for us back then, it was more like, well, if I go take a walk through our property, then that's a win, or just whatever kind of activity we could get that was just like standard functional type things. Tromping through the snow in a wooded area is quite the workout. So
yeah,
that's sort of what we wound up doing, more or less.
Yeah, Alan has his garage setup thing that is great.
Yeah.
We would like to have something like that set up. It's just we don't have the space yet, because Jeff has the garage it's his workshop, like it's his business area, and we have some storage that's we have to have some storage because our house has like no storage.
Yeah.
And So maybe one day, like when we get the barn redone, that could be that we could have like a little workout corner. Autumn said she wanted to get a punching bag. She did a few kickboxing classes that she thought was fun, and she wanted to get a punching bag at some point, but we just don't have a good place for it yet. So
she didn't want to string up one of her sisters.
I think it's like trying to avoid that. She's like, I think I need a punching bag in order not to go to jail.
You're like, also, the jail piece is a very high motivator to not punch people, but just not punching people should also be a high.
Whatever you can get. If it's jail that's keeping you from doing it, great.
So be it.
If you don't have any other higher aspirations than that, fine. No, she enjoyed it. There was a kickboxing gym across the street from her work, and she joined it for a little while, but it ended up being a little too expensive for her to do long term. Mm-hmm. And so, but she enjoyed it enough that she was like, I think I want a punching bag. So eventually, that's what it is with this farm. Is there's so many things that are eventually, they're goals. They're not yet objectives. They are goals.
They're the long term.
Exactly.
Vision.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's so much potential that there's so much we could do, different animals and different things, and we just have to dream, but also stay in reality. And just do the thing that's in front of us,
Right. Like I have a dream to have a chicken coop, but the reality is my neighborhood is not the appropriate place for that at this time. Down the road it could be, but for now it's going to stay out there in dreamland.
Yeah. It'll happen. I believe it for you.
I will pray for it. Oh, Jennifer, I love the row machine. That's my version of cardio right there. Like if I have to be okay with it, it's going to be the row machine.
Yeah, and I like the idea of having a cardio that's for lower body and a cardio that's for upper body. Cool. I like it because most cardio is lower body.
Lower body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My dad actually had a row machine when we were growing up that he would do a lot. I loved that thing. It was so much fun to just slide it back and forth. And rowing is not just upper body. You do have your legs involved too, but it's one of those things like if it looks like running, I'm out. Like the ellipticals, they kind of look like running, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's a little too close for me.
There was a time where I was like, I'm gonna be a runner, and I'm gonna just put the work in, and I'm gonna start to love it, just like they say happens. Never happened. Never happened.
Listen, I can learn to want a lot of things, but running is never going to be one of those.
Yeah. I gave it my best shot, and I'm satisfied that I gave it my best shot, and I'm ready to put that dream in the past.
I am really comfortable resting in the identity that I have assumed that I am not a runner and I won't be a runner. I will, if zombies come running after me, I'm just going to punch them in the face. Like I would rather turn to aggression than turn to running.
Fight or flight, you choose fight.
Always.
Yeah. That always.
It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Fine.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that we can just pontificate on here?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for the day?
Anything
that.
Also, I saw that Julia mentioned that the senior or the silver sneakers is for seniors, and it's free through her Medicare. I'm assuming like you would need to check with your own insurance to make sure that it's covered or not covered, but that is definitely a way to be able to afford it a little bit more easily if you are in that age bracket.
Yeah, I swear I just heard Wendy talking about it. Is that right?
She did.
But I'm like, I know I've heard that just recently, and I had never heard of it before.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it first when we first came here to Ohio and got signed up at our YMCA. I did a video, a few years ago when we were still in Wisconsin talking about tap dancing, where I was doing some tap dancing, and I love tap dancing. It sounds so ridiculous, but clogging, tapping, those kinds of things, love it. And I had seen that there was a tap class here at our YMCA, and I was like,
oh, fun.
I could do that. And then I found out that it was for silver sneakers, and I was like,
oh,
much
they let
sadness
you
for
in.
me. Well, and then I thought maybe if I stand in the back, nobody will notice. But
get your gray wig and
well, I'm trying to grow some gray hair. I'm trying really hard. But
so I have always thought that Charity would really like tap dancing.
yeah.
She's our piano player, and she's got some auditory, like, just funny things about her where she's been more sensitive to different sounds and stuff. And I remember when she was real little, we were going into Fred Meyer, and she was like walking funny, and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I like the way my shoes sound on the floor. And she like had in her mind like all the different stores and how her shoes sounded on each of them. And I think Fred Meyer was her favorite one. And I was like, she would be the best tap dancer.
Absolutely. So
it's not easy to find, tap dancing classes for young children these days. I don't know why.
Well, it's kind of like one of those art forms that's slowly fading into the background, I think.
Yeah.
I always did tap and ballet when I was little bitty, and I loved tapping. And even in high school, we in show choir would do like tap dancing numbers and things like that. And I, to this day, can still pull out my tap shoes that still fit me, and I can still go through and do a few of the numbers. And my middle, Molly, who's Charity's age, she is also our pianist, and she is in tap and jazz. And fortunately, we live in an area that does have a dance studio that has enough interest in tap dancing that she's able to do those things. And I fully agree with Charity. There's certain things, like certain floors with certain shoes, it sounds awesome, and you're just like, I just got to make a noise.
Yeah. I just love it. I just love that sound.
Oh yeah. I'm here for it.
That's funny.
Excellent. I feel like I missed something. Checking it out. Silver Sneakers has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
And Blaze verified for us. Wendy mentioned it a few days ago. Hold my stars. That is falling down. Okay. Wow, looking over here at the chat over, and I turned and I see my face turned to the side on this one, and I'm like, oh, I do look old. Maybe I could get in.
No. No, but they usually love when the younger ladies come in.
That's true.
You could be like the pet of the class.
I'm pretty sure I would turn into the ham.
Oh yeah. There's that.
It would all work out. It would all work out. All right. I think that it's been a good chat.
It has.
We'll have to hold each other accountable again next week.
Yep.
2 times for you.
Yep.
Now, wait a minute. Let's reverse that.
3.
2, up to 3. We're gonna stretch goal at 3. Stretch task objective is your 2 times. Accurate. Are your 2 workouts going to be from your yoga app, or are they going to be a yoga and functional combo platter?
I think I'm going to try to do 2 yoga workouts on top of any other like things that fall into my lap throughout the week, because there's always something, chopping wood or harvesting honey or whatever. So I think, but I really need the stretching. I noticed that this week, just like feeling tight. I got to be on top of that.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Got to get the muscles all loosey-goosey. Yeah. Sorted out. That'll be good. Yep. Okay. Yep. So now that we have a clear objective, we know how to hold one another accountable for next week.
Yes. Sounds awesome.
All right. So don't forget, ham is keto, as Julia said. And then
Just
Blaze, thank
skip
you
the
for
Blaze.
that. Please hit the like button if you have enjoyed this chat, or if you care to support my channel in some fashion. I would truly appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody showing up with us today just to hang out and chit chat. Let's grab these last few comments. Yeah. Betty, you stopped running in 2015 when arthritis started to arrive. Oh. Those silver sneaker workouts are really good for you. That's fantastic. I think that's a really good point to keep up on. Just because you may have some changes in your body doesn't mean you can't find something that will work for you.
Yeah. And I think, like we talked about maybe last week or the week before, is exercise is tricky because it's not just the more exercise, the better, right, or the more intense the exercise, the better, because there is a U-shaped curve where you could take it too far. Mm-hmm. And running is one of those things where there are some really good things about it, but then there's also some negative consequences if your ankles and your joints. And so it's one of those things where just don't push it. It's fine, right, but don't push it. Try
Respect
other things.
The limits of your own body.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Very much so.
Thanks for being here, Patty and Julia.
Yes. And Risa, we will ask you next week whether or not you got your 3 workouts. Light weights while you chat. Fantastic. I love that. Listen and lift at the same time.
We should do that while we're chatting.
That's a great idea. Although I don't know, I might wind up like totally forgetting that we're actually talking.
We'll be doing our big grunt.
I'll be like,
we'll spot each other during our chat.
That sounds legitimate. That'll work.
I think totally people would tune in for that, actually. Oh dear. Dear.
And on that note,
yeah.
We appreciate all of you so very much. Consider subscribing. Next week, we will be on Nili's channel. So make sure you ring the bell over on her channel, ring the bell on my channel if you want to make sure that you get notified when we are live on my channel here. And y'all have a great rest of the day and a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.